Adoption in Nigeria. Overview of adoption processes across Nigeria. Adoption is a legal process that offers children without parental care the opportunity to find a loving and supportive home. In Nigeria, adoption is regulated by various laws and regulations, and the adoption process differs across different states. Here is a summary of adoption in Nigeria and the key aspects of adoption processes in various states. Challenges faced. Adoption in Nigeria still faces challenges, including a lack of awareness and understanding among the public, as well as limited adoption agencies and professionals. Complex bureaucratic procedures and lengthy processing times also deter prospective adoptive parents. Progress and initiatives. To address these challenges, government agencies, NGOs, and advocacy groups are working to increase awareness and educate the public about adoption. Organizations like the Nigerian Association of Social Workers and the Adoption Society of Nigeria provide support and resources to prospective adoptive parents, and adoption support groups offer assistance throughout the adoption process. Positive impact. Adoption in Nigeria has a significant impact on the lives of children, providing them with love, stability, and legal rights. Adoptive families create nurturing environments where children can thrive emotionally, physically, and academically. Adoption also promotes social responsibility and compassion within society, inspiring communities to support vulnerable children. Adoption laws in Nigeria. Adoption in Nigeria is primarily governed by the Child Rights Act of 2003, although not all states have adopted it. Some states have their own adoption laws or rely on customary practices to regulate adoption. Types of adoption. In Nigeria, different types of adoption are recognized within the legal framework. Domestic adoption. Adoption of a child who is a citizen or resident of Nigeria by individuals or couples who are also residents or citizens of Nigeria. Inter-country adoption. Adoption of a child from Nigeria by individuals or couples who are citizens or residents of another country. Relative or kinship adoption. Adoption of a child by a close family member, such as a grandparent, aunt, uncle, or cousin, allowing the child to maintain familial connections. Step-parent adoption. Legal adoption of a step-parent's biological child from a previous relationship, establishing parental rights and responsibilities. Foster to adopt. Initially placing a child with foster parents, who may choose to adopt the child if they become legally available for adoption. Nigeria's Adoption Authority. Adoption processes in Nigeria are overseen by various entities at the federal and state levels. The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development plays a significant role, along with state social welfare offices, magistrate courts, guardian ad litems, and licensed adoption agencies. Basic requirements for adoption. The requirements for adoption in Nigeria vary across states, including residency, age, marriage, and income requirements. Prospective adoptive parents must meet these criteria to be eligible for adoption. Required documents for adoption. Prospective adoptive parents typically need to submit various documents, including application forms, birth certificates, marriage certificates, medical reports, police clearance certificates, financial statements, home study reports, references, and photographs. Adoption process in some Nigerian states. Different states in Nigeria have specific adoption processes. Here is a summary of the processes in some states. Lagos State. Application to the Ministry of Youth and Social Development, pre-adoption counseling, home study, child match, 6-month fostering period, and adoption order from the court. Rivers State. Application to the Ministry of Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, home study, interviews, counseling sessions, waiting for child match, court order for adoption. Enugu State. Application to the Ministry of Gender Affairs and Social Development, home study, medical examination, background checks, probationary period, adoption order from the court. Similarities and differences in adoption processes. While adoption processes across Nigerian states have similarities such as the legal framework, home study, child matching, fostering period, and court order, there are differences in the responsible authorities, application process, counseling, waiting period, and probationary period. International adoption of a Nigerian child to parents living in the United States or other countries requires meeting eligibility criteria in both Nigeria and the receiving country. The process involves fulfilling adoption requirements, immigration and legal procedures, and working with adoption agencies or facilitators. Prospective adoptive parents should consult adoption authorities, immigration authorities, and legal professionals to understand the specific criteria and processes for international adoption, as they can vary between countries. It's important to note that the adoption process and requirements may change over time, and prospective adoptive parents should consult the relevant state authorities or adoption agencies for the most up-to-date information.